My name is Ruth Yesair. The date is August 6th. I am interviewing Dan Brown, who was born in...
March 7th, 1909.
And lives at... Your address here.
146 Main Street.
All right. Can you tell me what Byfield was like when you were growing up?
Well, it was a small town. You knew practically everybody in it.
Where did you go to school? Did you go to school at the Yellow School?
Yes.
How did you get there?
First 4 years I went electric car.
Uh-huh.
And the next 4 years I went with a horse and with Mr. Pingree's barge, I guess they called it.
Did you ever hear about the Bluebell? This was a device that they they painted blue and used to haul children to school, I think, down in Old Town.
No.
No, you never did. I see.
Lou Pingree used to live over next to South Byfield Church. Had a pair of horses, and they...
In other words, the school committee would contract them like a school bus now. Go around, pick up the kids. How?
In the last year, I think, Dick Whitten had a...
How many children could be carried on one of those? Would they put on like 20 or 30, or?
Wouldn't be more than 20.
Uh-huh. They have seats, or did you...
Yeah,
uh-huh.
there were seats on the side.
And then in the winter it was covered?
It was covered all the time.
Oh, it was covered all the time?
But you had curtains they'd rolled up.
I see.
Of course, in the winter they had sled rather than a wagon.
I see. Yeah, and then the roads... Do you remember the road rolling? Sue Little gave us a picture of the road rolling.
I never saw them roll it.
No.
They dragged the log.
Yes. That's what I meant. They
rollers, or what I think rollers is what they had up in Vermont.
No, they dragged the log. Yeah. How many horses would they have to use to drag that log? Just two?
Four or six.
How were the horses prevented from floundering in the snow? Did somebody have to go ahead in front of them and clear?
If you got big drifts, you had to get out and shovel enough to get them through.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Do you remember the mills down there on Central Street?
Yeah.
How big were they? How many people were employed there? Lots?
Quite a few. I don't know if I know exactly.
Somebody told me that corner was called Little Italy because a lot of the employees worked there were Italian.
Yeah, the last of it. The last of it, they were.
Uh-huh. Do you remember the night it burned?
No. We didn't hear anything about it because we were down
the other end of town. Could you...
I think we worked on the marsh next day, and it looked kind of black up there, but we never heard till the next night that it...
You never heard. I know that Betsy Woodman interviewed you about the salt marsh haying. Mm-hmm. Did she ever interview you on tape?
No.
No. Could you tell me how it was done?
How she did?
No, how you did, how the salt marsh haying was done.
Oh, dear. You want to go way back to...
Why not? Why not?
As I remember, we mowed with horses.
With bog shoes.
Years ago, they did all with scythes of mowing. But we used to use one horse and a 5-foot machine, and I always walked behind when you was on the marsh for some reason. Well, of course, you only had one horse and a 5-foot machine. You mowed it, and then 3 or 4 days later, you'd go out and rake it, and then caulk it up, and then you start stacking it.
This was used for winter fodder.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably very healthy.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't as good feed as clover and alfalfa today, but
If
They
you...
did have vitamins and
Yeah,
iodine and all that kind of stuff.
sure. If that was used for winter fodder, then you would leave it out there to dry and then bring it in.
After the mash was frozen.
Yes.
That was the reason for leaving it there.
I see.
The mash was so soft you couldn't haul much of a load off. And you go out in the winter.
Where did you mostly do the salt marching?
Well, we did it down on the pike and down the island. We had a lot down there.
Were these purchased lots or rented lots?
Some we owned and some we rented.
Have you any idea of the acreage?
No, not. The lot down the island was supposed to be 20 acres, and we used to mow that, and sometimes we'd mow 10 more acres down there.
Were there bad greenheads then?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody told me the horses suffered terribly.
They did. We used to cover them with burlap, but that made them awful hot. So,
Yes.
so they suffered one way or the other.
Yes. How about yourself? What did you do?
We slapped a lot.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Do you remember the big hotel down Plum Island?
No, not really.
No. Somebody told me 4th of July was big here. And Memorial Day. Big parades, Memorial Day parades.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Big family parties.
I don't remember getting into them much.
No. Somebody also told me that Byfield years ago was a very pretty town. Lots of flowers, very attractive.
Yeah, I think perhaps it was.
Did your father tell you about Byfield when he was little?
I don't know if he knew Byfield so well when he was little, because he lived down there in the Pike. He was brought up there down where Lawrence lives.
Right.
And they mostly went to Newburyport.
They went to Newburyport. They would go to Newburyport for all their supplies then.
They thought nothing to walk in Newburyport.
Nothing to walk. How would they get to school?
Well, they had the district school down there in Middle Road.
That's right. That was located near Ed Brown's?
Well, up the street a little bit, toward this way.
One-room school? Do you remember who taught it?
No, I don't.
No. How many cows did you have on your farm?
Well, we had, last year we had about 40 head of everything, young stock and all.
What did you do with the milk? Sell it to...
Sold it to, well, last year, the Webster's and Newburyport. Webster's Dairy.
That's hard work.
Oh, yeah.
Early in the morning, late at night. Do you remember?
7 days a week.
Yes, exactly. Do you remember it before the electricity? That must have been very hard. Electricity probably improved a lot.
Oh, yeah, you had the mechanical macros, of course, and they had the refrigeration, which made quite a bit of difference.
How has the politics of Newbury changed? Has it changed at all?
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, they used to meet down there. Well, the townhouse was down by Ed Brown's.
Yes.
And you go down there. Dad was he had charged the road for a good many years in Byfield, and they'd meet once a month, I think.
For town meeting?
For the selectmen would meet.
I see. Yes.
And now they do it every week, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
And you go down there, and nobody'd be around. You take the bill down, and you wouldn't have all this whole hall full of people telling selectmen how to run things.
Yes. How was town meeting? How was it when you met down there at that hall?
When you had regular town meeting?
Yes.
Of course, it was all day fair.
All day?
Yeah.
You took your food?
You either took it, or if you hadn't, You know, one of the neighbors you'd be invited to, we used to go to over to my Uncle Justin's. So I think I went twice, I think. And they moved down to Old Town.
That's the building that's now on Littlefield's property.
Right.
It appears small. How many people could it hold?
I don't know.
And they met once a year.
Yeah.
And
I
so
suppose they had special one once in a while, but not as often as they do now.
it was an all-day affair, and everybody took their food.
Yeah, they took the food.
Do you remember any particular interesting incidents?
Well, Arthur Moody was he was the comic of the town meeting.
Why was he?
He'd get up and say some such thing as he didn't think Plum Island was worth anything. He said just so much blue sky, he said. I didn't realize what they had down there.
Yes, yes.
Too bad they hadn't done better planning then.
That is too bad. That is too bad. Do you remember riding the electric cars to Plum Island?
Mm-hmm.
And go down there? There were no roads at that time.
I can't seem to remember that, but no, there wasn't any road. I have to get the road across the bridge, I think. And when you get down to the sand,
And that was it. Byfield was quite a thriving community a while back with a number of shops, weren't there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the shops that were here? Shoe shop and...
Apparently there was a shoe shop right there where the post office is.
Uh-huh.
And,
feed store?
yeah, the feed store there at one time, they said. I don't remember too much of that stuff. That's before my day.
You did most of your shopping in Newburyport.
Yeah.
How has Newburyport changed? Do you remember the Wolf Tavern?
Yeah.
Were you ever in it?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that's a pity that was torn down.
Yeah, because that'd been one of the landmarks today.
It certainly would have been. It certainly would have been. So after you went to the Yellow School here in Byfield, did you go to Newburyport High School?
No, I went to Academy.
Academy. How has the Academy changed?
Well, there was 12 in our graduating class.
My goodness. My goodness. Who was the headmaster then?
Dr. Ingham.
Dr. Ingham. Uh-huh. We're doing some research on the Moody Boynton's monorail. Do you know anything about that?
Not really. I know he was playing with the idea.
You don't know anything about where it was located or anything?
No.
We have a picture of it. What was Governor Demmer like when you were there? Did you get there by...
I walked.
You walked there?
I only lived a mile.
Yeah. What would you do in the wintertime?
Walk.
Right through all the snow and everything. Did you play sports at Governor Demmer?
No.
No. I bet you were a good student.
I don't know about that.
And after Governor Demmer, what did you do?
University of New Hampshire.
University of New Hampshire, majoring in what?
Agriculture.
You didn't walk there. You boarded, of course. Where did you board? In a dormitory or with a family?
First year at dormitory, and I think 3 in they had rooms in the barns up there. We worked taking care of the livestock.
Uh-huh.
Got a room for that.
So you were majoring in agriculture. Come back and improve your farm.
I know I did not.
Oh, it's a beautiful place over there. Do you think Byfield has changed a great deal?
Of course, a lot more people now. And well, it's changed a lot in that it's changing all the time. Before, I mean, years and years and years, the same people lived in the same house. And today, they doesn't. You go down Main Street and there'll be 3 or 4 family change every year.
Yes, but there's still quite a lot of the old-timers left in the same homes.
But when I lived down the farm and Dad was taking care of the roads here, I knew practically everybody on Main Street. Today I don't know everybody on Main Street.
What did he use for road equipment? Horses.
We're back in the, you know, got the first truck in 31, I think.
How were the roads surfaced?
Well, they'd started to oil them, but they were pretty, there was nothing compared to what they had today.
Yes, yes. What was the ride like on the electric cars? Somebody had told me a story about some woman had fallen off and got killed on them because they were open.
I never heard that one. They had the open cars in the summer.
Do you remember
I
how?
like them.
What was the cost?
Well, when I was a little kid, you go to Newbury for a nickel.
Nickel. How long did the ride take you?
I know, 15 minutes maybe.
15 minutes? Was there one particular conductor that was really nice to the kids?
Oh, I don't know, I remember the name. Sam Larkin was one. Percy Oliver.
Remember the circus in Newburyport?
Yeah.
We have a picture of some elephants off the circus train. Do you remember what the circus was like? Did you go to it?
Yeah, we went to Sir. I never saw them unload, and I always kicked myself if I didn't get down there and watch them.
Yeah. What was...
As good as a circus, I guess, what they say.
I think so. I think so. Do you remember some of the acts? They have high wire acts and elephant.
Oh, they had everything. I don't remember a particular one.
You don't remember any particular one. When you went to school, you probably had to milk the cows before you went to school. What time did you get up?
Most of the time I didn't have to get up. I'd get up at night, but I didn't have to get up in the morning to help, unless they were short-handed. 'Cause,
in the summer, did you do anything for pleasure, or was it mostly hard farm work?
mostly hard farm work.
Yes, I know.
If we got a day off to go to the beach in summer, we thought we were lucky.
Sure. And you went to the beach by the electric cars?
Well, when I was a little fellow. And then sometimes we used to go down a mile with a horse. Sometimes Mother would take the whole gang.
That would take quite a while, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
A couple hours, maybe?
No, it was a good driving. We had not quite that long, an hour and a half.
Uh-huh. Do you remember any of the particularly big storms in the area that might have gotten you snowed in for a long period of time, or the hurricanes?
We had one with a kid, and I don't really know as I remember it, but we came down to the electric cars to the academy, and they wouldn't go any farther, and they called up Uncle Josh, and he used to peddle milk in Newburyport, and he had a pung that was all covered in, and he came over with that pung, had a lantern in to keep it warm, and all us kids get in and get on that where they keep the milk, and he brought us home.
That was in the winter.
Yeah, they had a big storm.
Lots of snow.
The cars got that far, and they didn't dare go any farther.
My goodness. How about some of the big hurricanes? Do you remember any of them?
Oh, yeah.
Did your father ever tell you about the farm when he was growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me some of the stories.
He mowed once on the marsh with a gang. And he was about 15 years old, I think. And the next year they used one machines. Said he did all right long as somebody else would sharpen the side for him. And that was half the trick again.
That's hard and hot work. Some of the old bog shoes are still around.
Mm-hmm. I got one.
Do you have any of the hay poles?
No.
No.
I got rid of most of our stuff.
There were a lot of apple orchards years ago, weren't there?
Yeah.
What happened to them?
Well, a lot of them, they all had big trees, and the spraying, you couldn't spray them properly. I think that's the biggest reason they went to pieces.
It was a disease then, perhaps, rather than bad weather.
Yeah, I think it was disease. I mean, now they spray every 15 minutes.
I heard this area was very noted for apples.
It was. And they had a lot of apple trees.
How else has it changed?
We didn't have to spray. When I was a kid, we didn't have to spray. And then we got spraying a couple times, maybe.
Were the mosquitoes as bad then?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? I had heard that perhaps the cows had kept the fields cleared, so there weren't so many breeding places.
Well, probably it may help a little.
Can you describe Plum Island when you first went there? There were very few cottages, weren't there?
Very few. We used to have West Newbury Day, and my mother came from West Newbury.
Yes.
And half the town West Newbury would be down there.
Down at Plum Island.
We used to go down. I think it was a weekday. I don't think it was Sunday.
Big celebration.
This whole home day.
With people bringing food.
Oh yeah, we'd have the lunch down there.
Any competitions, volleyball games and things like that?
I expect it was, but I was a little kid then. I don't know if I got involved in that.
Do you remember the Memorial Day parades around?
Not as much. I remember the firemen's parade.
Well, can you describe them to me?
And of course, they had all the hand tubs and they had horses that were drawn in those times. Well, cars all decorated up, all that stuff.
How would you fight a fire back then if it would get started get a good start by the time they ever arrived?
Yeah, I guess that if you've got a house out in the country, it's just doomed, that's all.
Yes. Do you remember any of the big fires? Newburyport had a couple of big fires.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't get down to that. I remember Dad telling about going down to Cyanosis fire.
When was that?
Oh dear, I don't know. Oh, 1910 around there somewhere. He rode the horse down, bareback.
Bareback.
Yeah.
And then he helped fight it?
I guess he said he'd never do that again.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was quite something. Do you remember any of the good times here in the school? I guess the teachers were very nice.
Oh yeah, sorry. Sorry was she taught 3 generations here.
What was her name?
Esther Torrey.
Esther Torrey.
Eleanor Pingree. Agnes Noyes.
What did they teach you? Regular reading, writing, arithmetic,
That's
3
right.
R's?
That's right. Miss Torrey drilled us. You didn't waste a minute.
You didn't waste a
When
minute.
you get up, stand, get your coat on, go home, you recited the multiplication tables or something.
You were still busy when you were getting dressed to go out.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And there are 4 rooms in the Yellow School, so there must have been several grades in each room.
Two to a grade.
Two
to a room.
to a room.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Where, if you used horses, where was the blacksmith shop that you would use?
We went to Byfield Salmon.
You did?
Newbury Town.
Do you remember the watering trough that was up here in Byfield?
I think I do. But I got a picture there and I can't see it. It should show it, but...
Did you use the blacksmith shop on Main Street or the one on Lunt Street? There was one on Lunt Street,
Yeah.
wasn't there?
The one on Main.
On Main Street.
I don't remember the one on Lunt, to tell you the truth.
We don't have much information about that one. Of course, we have a lot of information about the one there by the river.
Just had a picturesque.
Yes. Yes. And do you remember the grist mill across from the
No.
blacksmith shop?
Not really.
No. What was the interior of the blacksmith shop like?
Same as every blacksmith shop. With a forge and a...
Who was the blacksmith?
Can't get the name.
Uh-huh.
I know it, somebody said it, but...
Did the horses mind being shod?
Not the old ones, although we had a pair that had a terrible time. They'd have to...
Would you restrain them?
They tried to. Took them a long while before they... See, we brought them greens in the west, and
They weren't one of Mr. Little's green horses
No.
from the west.
No.
We're trying to get more information about those horses. Do you know anything about them?
Well, we had several pairs came from there.
Did you ever see his drive down High Street? He used to bring them, we were told, on the railroad,
Yeah.
and then bring them down to his farm on High Street. Do you,
No, I don't remember seeing...
yes.
hearing about it.
If you came up here to the blacksmith shop, would you also buy your grain up here? There was some grain stores, we were told.
No, I think we bought a grain from... Well, I used to buy it from either Ipswich or Newbury Town. The Houghtons over to Ipswich was better grain around here.
How did you get from here to Ipswich?
They'd deliver it.
Oh, they deliver it. Uh-huh. Remember the
We
trains?
bought grain over at Glen Mills years ago.
Oh.
And then after they were down Newbury Town there.
Do you remember the trains through Byfield?
Yeah.
One time somebody said that they were diverted from the main line and came through Byfield, the big trains.
I don't remember what that.
Did you ever ride those trains?
I never went from Newbury Town to Byfield. I've been Byfield, Haverhill.
On the trains?
Yeah.
Well, and you got it at the Byfield Depot, rode to Haverhill. Do you remember how much that cost?
No.
What were you going to do in Haverhill?
Come back to Durham.
Back to Durham. So you would go to Haverhill for the train and then what, take another train from Haverhill?
Right through Durham, right.
How long would that take you?
I don't know.
You could get practically everywhere by train, couldn't you, from Byfield?
Yeah. And electric cars, you could go all around the country for that.
Yes. They didn't last very long, though, did they?
No, they didn't.
But people rode them. Do you think it was the advent of the cars?
A lot of it. A lot of it was that.
What was your first car?
Was my first car? Oh, we had a Model T, or a little truck. It's called a pickup now, but it had a canopy top.
And we were told they scared all the horses.
All the years ago they did. But nothing. Dad told about driving along and a woman going along with an umbrella, and she got over the wall and all they could see was the umbrella. I was scared to death.
Oh, that's amusing. That's amusing. Well, life has changed.
I'm probably the last one left that went down the river after Salt Hay.
Well, tell us about it.
We used to get down the landing, down the first settlers landing, you know.
Yes.
And go down the Packer River and cross Cape Merrill, cross the Packer River onto the island.
By what? By horse?
Yeah, on the ice.
How would you prevent the horses from slipping?
They had sharp shoes.
They had special ice shoes then.
Yeah, they always did in winter.
And then you would bring them across the Salt Hay across the ice by a cart?
Sled.
A sled.
Mm-hmm.
How many stacks of hay could you pick up in, say, a day?
Well, you take one to a trip.
One a trip.
Yeah, that's one trip is enough to be done. Oh,
That must have been awfully cold work.
It was.
Yes. So you go down from your farm. Would that be the one on Orchard Street or the one? It's a long trip.
Not near as far as Wasbury Road.
That's right. That's right. No chance of falling in.
Always a little chance. There was a chance.
Oh.
Dad told about coming up one day, and Dick Knight's father had just come up. And Dad said something about how was the ice? Hold the church. And pretty soon he said, he hollered, Dad, get them going. He says, you're cutting in.
Oh, dear.
He said, I'll never tell anybody safe again.
No. Oh, dear.
But for the times many loads of hay that come up there, there's comparatively few ever went in.
Nobody went in.
Very few.
Well, they were fortunate. The gondolas are gone now.
I never remember that.
You don't remember them?
I remember them at all.
Well, we've got some nice pictures of them. Well, those were the good old days.
In some ways.
Do you think it's better now, or it was better then?
Oh, I don't know. You just remember the good things, I think, more than you do the bad ones.
Yeah. What was a particularly good time that you remember? Family Thanksgivings and Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
You describe them?
No, we used to have Sunday school picnic and take a boat and go down to... Go from down to the middle road, you know.
Yes.
And go down to Ipswich Beach on the boat. The whole parish.
Would you have gone on the Carlotta?
I don't remember the name. I think boats ought to be Ipswich all the time.
I see. Sounds like fun. Which church was this? Byfield Parish?
Byfield Parish, yeah.
Well, they're good times to remember. You tell me about the halfway house, please, Dan. This interesting picture you've given me.
there was a house about 3 miles down from Plum Island Boulevard, which is known as the halfway house.
On the south end of Plum Island.
Yeah, on the south, toward the south.
Towards the south, yes.
Apparently, years ago, it was a farm, and I don't know when it was discontinued using. There used to be a well out there. We watered the horses with a pump.
My goodness. You watered your horses there.
Yeah. We had a camp, that was far from here to John Shaw's. Beyond that, and we used to come up and water the horses.
This would be present wildlife property.
Beyond, yeah.
And you think it just tumbled down?
As far as I know.
My goodness, that's a new one.
I remember it when I was a kid.
Kid?
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, you were going to also tell me about the trolleys on Parker River. They didn't go across the river.
The trolleys went as far as the Parker River on High Road, but it didn't go across the river. You can see right there.
Yes.
And then if you wanted to go to Ipswich on the trolleys, you could go from the Academy through Rowley. And when you got the railroad track in Ipswich, you had to get off the trolley and walk across and take another trolley. That would go on, so I guess you could go to Essex and Beverly and...
Could you go to Boston on the electric car?
I think so.
Would there be a direct line from... Would you have to go into Ipswich to get to Boston?
Well, that would be one way of going. No, I don't know, Georgetown... Well, chances are Georgetown, Haverhill, or somewhere that way too would probably go. You could go all over the Essex County and if you knew the changes.
Yes. Now, you said you had a camp down here near the halfway house.
Yeah, about 400 yards beyond.
How frequently would you use that camp?
When it's all haying.
So, I see. So it would be more like it wouldn't be a cottage where you'd go and...
Not very often. I mean, some of them used to go gunning down there for the wildlife.
So you would keep most of your salt marsh supplies, your tools down there?
Yeah, we'd go down and stay a week.
The whole family? With the ladies with food, or...?
Sometimes mother would go. And, of course, somebody had to stay home, go home, do chores. But some of the gangs that stay there, there'd be, sometimes 4 or 5.
What were the cooking accommodations like?
Had a stove there.
And bunkhouse. So we would probably leave your farm implements for the salt marsh haying down there. Describe the outside. Describe the inside.
Well, we'd take them down. We'd take the mowing machines down at the beginning of the season, and somebody'd stay right there, and all the tools would be there, stay there. But then when we got through, we'd haul them all home again.
What was the outside of the camp like?
The camp was built up on posts. It was just out on the marsh just a little, because the upland on the island got on fire too often.
Why?
I don't know why, but it seemed to.
Electrical storms, or?
I don't know, but they used to have some pretty good fires down there. But apparently the marsh didn't get on fire so often, because the tide would get up underneath the camp and be wetter. So at least the camp stayed there a good many years here.
Would it be an enjoyable outing type of thing, or would you anticipate it, look forward to it?
We look forward to that. Yeah, especially if you could stay down and didn't have to home milk cows.
Yes, and then after the salt marsh haying was done in the evening, you could jump in the ocean and cool off.
Yeah, ocean or river.
Have a swim. That is interesting. You take your horses down.
Mm-hmm.
How many horses would go with you?
2.
Would you work 2 at a time, or would one spell each other?
We used to take 2 machines down, both work, and then when we were stacking, one would be on the drag and one would be on house rake.
So it'd be a rustic type of camp.
Oh yeah. I have a picture of it, I'll show you.
I want to see it, please.